Hello, future Southerners! Today, I've got the ultimate showdown for you. South Carolina versus North Carolina. I'm going to unveil the charm, the lifestyle, and everything in between. Hi, I'm Sue LaFavi with eXp Realty, and if you have any questions along the way, just call, text, or email me. I'm going to cover my top 5 key factors to consider when deciding between North and South Carolina. And stay tuned for the end. I've got a funny bonus you're not going to want to miss. Okay, number 1, population and job opportunities. North Carolina is about double the size of South Carolina with a population of approximately 10.6 million versus 5.2 million folks in South Carolina. So, it's no surprise that North Carolina has a much stronger job market. Just looking at the Research Triangle area, which consists of Raleigh, Durham, and Chapel Hill, this is home to over 300 companies, including IBM, Cisco, Amazon, and Fidelity Investments, just to name a few. And speaking of population, you might be interested to know where people are coming from. Looking at this chart from the U.S. Census Bureau, I find it very interesting that most people moving to North Carolina are from Florida, and most moving to South Carolina are ironically from North Carolina. On to number 2, cost of living. When you look at the cost of living index by state, as of June 2023, you can see North Carolina and South Carolina are neck and neck. But I'm going to break it down a little further because it definitely makes a difference whether you are inland or on the coast. Here are 2 comparable inland cities, Greenville, South Carolina, and Asheville, North Carolina. As you can see, overall, Asheville is approximately 15.9% more expensive than Greenville. And you'll see healthcare and housing are the 2 biggest differentiators. Now, let's go to the coast and compare Charleston, South Carolina, and Wilmington, North Carolina. As you can see, Wilmington is approximately 12.4% less expensive than Charleston. And again, healthcare and housing being the biggest influencers. And just FYI, this data comes from a great website called bestplaces.com. You can use it to compare literally any 2 cities in the entire US. As part of the cost of living, let's look at property taxes. Looking at this chart, you can see South Carolina is the 5th lowest state with an effective tax rate of 0.56% versus North Carolina at 0.80%. So, for example, if your home is assessed at $245,000, you would be paying approximately $584 more in annual taxes in North Carolina. Now, there is a caveat. North Carolina has a fixed tax rate. However, South Carolina has a tax rate for primary homeowners and a much higher one for secondary and investment properties. In this, it's assuming a primary residence. Let's look at other taxes. Sales tax, North Carolina is at 4.75%. South Carolina is a bit higher at 6%. Income tax, North Carolina has a graduated system going from 5.2% to 7.5%, whereas South Carolina has a flat rate of 7%. Neither of these seem like deal breakers if I was deciding where to live. Maybe you're close to retirement. Which state is going to make the most of your retirement savings? Looking at this chart, you can see neither state taxes Social Security. However, as far as pensions and 401ks, South Carolina is a bit friendlier, only partially taxing. Speaking of retirement, there is a popular website called wallethub.com that did a study to determine the best and worst states to retire in 2024. They compared the 50 states across 3 key factors: affordability, quality of life, and healthcare. They used 46 matrix to evaluate these 3 dimensions. Now, I'm not going to get into the nitty-gritty, but just so you know, The overall score for each state was calculated by finding the weighted average across all these matrices. And here are the results. I was a bit surprised to see Florida was ranked overall number 1, but when I peeled back the onion a little further, it was primarily due to relatively low taxes for retired people and the cost of adult day health care and homemaker services are lower than most states. In addition, it's an ideal living environment minus the hurricanes with the warm climate and all the shorelines. Moving past Florida, you'll see the states with all the blue snowflakes, and they are frankly too cold for me. Now, going down a little further, you will see the Carolinas. You'll see South Carolina comes in a bit ahead of North Carolina, coming in with an overall ranking of 11 versus 15 for North Carolina. I'd have to pretty much call this a tie because the numbers are just so close. And you might be wondering, like me, what was the worst state to retire? And that would be Kentucky. Another surprise to me. Number 3, climate and weather. And really, you can't go wrong for the most part when comparing the weather. They're both mild, comfortable places to live. North Carolina does experience a little more diverse climate due to its geographic diversity. The western part of the state has mountainous climate with cooler temperatures. The coastal region has a milder climate with warm summers and mild winters. South Carolina is closer to the equator, thus the climate is generally subtropical with hot and humid summers and mild winters. And folks here tend to be year-round flip-floppers. I do have folks ask, what about the snow? Here is my chart showing the snowiest place in North and South Carolina. As you can see, annual snowfall in Greenville, South Carolina is approximately 2.5 inches compared to 10.2 inches in Asheville, North Carolina. And we must have had our family vacation to Asheville on the day they got the 10 inches of snow. Here's a glimpse. So the start of our family vacation, we can't get the car down the road to the lodge, so we are carrying luggage, and it's turning to be a further walk than we thought. And snow is not my cup of tea. Now, I can't talk about the weather without bringing up hurricanes. Both states experience hurricane season between June and November. This chart shows hurricanes by state from 1951 to 2022. As you can see, overall, there are approximately double the number of hurricanes in North Carolina. And looking at a Category 2 storm, the number is also about double. So, this could possibly be a reason that you choose South Carolina, especially if you're wanting to move near the coast. And now, number 5, let's look at healthcare. I'm not going to sugarcoat this. Here is the list for the worst states for healthcare from the Forbes Advisor dated October 2023. North Carolina comes in number 3, closely followed by South Carolina coming in at number 5. When I dug a little deeper into the numbers, I found that the North Carolinians with single health insurance coverage through an employer pay one of the highest premiums in the nation, which is a big part of why they got the low ranking. On the other hand, South Carolina primarily received the bad ranking because they have the highest percentage of residents who choose not to see a doctor at some point in the past 12 months due to cost. Now, I do want to add both of these states have some exceptional hospitals. In North Carolina, you've got Duke University in Durham, ranked number 1, and UNC in Chapel Hill, ranked number 2. In South Carolina, you've got MUSC, Health University Medical Center in Charleston, and Lexington Medical Center in Columbia. I would feel very comfortable with my healthcare options as long as I was in driving distance with any of these hospitals. And where I live, MUSC would be my choice. And now for my bonus. Both North and South Carolina offer a plethora of outdoor activities that you can enjoy pretty much all year round. However, I think there is one rather unique to North Carolina, and that is bird watching, or should I say bear watching. Yeah, you heard me right. I was recently up in Asheville, North Carolina, visiting some friends, and this was the sight in the backyard. And apparently, this is a normal occurrence. While in South Carolina, we are constantly fighting with the squirrels in our feeders. So the big debate, North Carolina or South Carolina? It all boils down to your unique taste and cravings. There is no one-size-fits-all answer. Personally, I am all in for the charm of South Carolina. I love the Sea Islands in Beaufort, a paradise for boating and fishing, the cozy small town feel, and I do love those heavenly warm winters. Now, don't get me wrong, both states are stellar options to call home. The key, do your homework up front, make a savvy decision tailored to your needs, and get ready for an epic adventure. After all, it's not just about where you live. It's about crafting a lifestyle that suits your every whim. Again, if you have any questions about North or South Carolina, please reach out anytime. Thanks.